Hi, Nick here. Before we start, James, Grace and I would like to say that we hold nothing but the utmost respect for the victims and survivors of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, and the courage and self-sacrifice displayed by the liquidators during the cleanup that followed. We must stress that no offence is meant by this podcast, and we give our thanks to the thousands of real-life Legasovs, Sherbinas and Komyuks that accomplished the impossible for the sake of the Ukraine, Europe and the world.
Hello, and welcome back to the Shipping Forecast. I'm James, joining me is Grace.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hello!
And today we're going to be talking about Chernobyl. Not so much the 1980s disaster, but the HBO series that was made last year. I think it's a year old now.
It's getting that way, yeah.
Okay, we're coming up to a year. Let's start by asking around. Nick, what do you know about Chernobyl?
Oh, well... So basically, my relationship with Chernobyl, the disaster, sort of goes back to... I used to suffer a lot from insomnia. And of course, when I used to suffer a lot from insomnia, I used to go on the internet and I used to read things, like anything that took my fancy. Anyway, long story short, I was browsing the internet one, probably morning, it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I stumbled upon the Wikipedia page for the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and I have been fascinated since then. I've done so much reading on, why it happened and the cleanup afterwards and the main people involved. In fact, my girlfriend bought me for Christmas, I think it was, a book called Midnight in Chernobyl, which is like a blow-by-blow account of the building of Pripyat, the building of the power plant, that fateful night on, I think it was April the 26th, 1986.
Is that the book that the TV show was based on?
Sort of, yeah. It's done less as like a thing of facts and figures, as it's more written as a story, but everything in it is true to life. It's the definitive work that you want to read if if you're interested in these sort of things. But yeah, we're basically doing this just in time to ruin that for me with the fanfic we're going to be reading.
That wasn't intentional, but now that I know that, I will do my absolute best to make sure it's ruined just a little bit. Grace, any thoughts on Chernobyl? Did it impact you as a child as much as it did Nick?
Honestly, I had barely heard about it other than it being brought up from time to time when my mum would talk about what the 80s was like, but can't say really impacted me a lot. I've only seen...
Your mum wasn't in the USSR at the time, I would assume.
No, I don't think so. I think she was somewhere in the middle of India or something at the time, being a free spirit. Or maybe she was in Saudi, I don't remember. I don't know her timeline very well, but she wasn't in Europe, so it wouldn't.
And I should probably mention we are all too young to be aware of the Chernobyl disaster in first-hand experience.
Yeah, we weren't born yet.
I did ask, and I'm sure, I think it was one of my parents said, that they can sort of vaguely remember being told by their parents, my grandparents, to keep the windows shut, because the whole of Europe got a pretty hefty dose of fallout. Of course, not as bad as it could have been, but yeah, it's a lot of that they seem to remember being told to keep the windows shut. So yeah.
So I should probably mention, this is going to be a completely spoiler-heavy podcast for Chernobyl, as we move on to talk about the romance of the series. Much like with Doctor Who, there wasn't really... Romance isn't the core of the show. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, something very different is the core, in fact.
Well, yes, most definitely. The core exploded and injected itself over a 30-kilometre radius, according to the Soviets.
But it wasn't romantic, so wasn't mainly featured.
Though much like the romance of this show, the fandom definitely exploded, definitely over two characters in particular.
Yeah.
Now, without really looking much at the fanfiction yet, just from reactions I've seen online, there is a lot of pairings of... I'm probably going to butcher a lot of Russian names in this episode. Between Valery Legasov and Boris Shabina.
Legasov, but yeah, you did well.
I swear they called him Legasov in the series.
I think it's Legasov. I could be wrong, but
I'm gonna stick with Legasov because I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard. If I'm wrong, feel free to call us out in the comments later on.
You know, in fact, if there's any hate mail that you want to send us, then please send it.
Yes, contact us at thefanshippingforecast@gmail.com. That'll be in the notes section below. Any other pairings you guys think we'll see in this?
I found an interesting one.
Okay.
Don't ask me how I found it, because the weird thing is these things seem to find me because of the sheer amount of shitposting groups and terrible videos I watch on YouTube, right? Have you heard of Core-chan?
I can kind of guess what this is.
I've not heard of Core-chan, but knowing my way around the internet, I think I can extrapolate who Core-chan is. Is this the anime girl embodiment of the reactor core?
Yes, it is, and it's the fan art which I've seen. She's sort of like this unattainable goddess who is sort of lusted after by Anatoly Dyatlov.
Oh yeah, I see them. I see some art of them together. I'm just gonna post this there for everyone's benefit.
Oh yes, yeah, there she is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's that's Dyatlov trying to put her back in a box.
Yeah, I can see Dyatlov here. Yeah.
Core-chan's sandbox, no water allowed. Oh, God.
That's adorable. Let's talk about this one that Grace has found. It is... So, normally we do search by explicit. This is a general, but I think it's worth exploring this because it is... both. It is a crossover between Chernobyl and the Eurovision Song Contest in 2017.
Is there a plot? Is there a summary? Can you read the summary to me, please?
Specifically 2017. Summary. The final of the Eurovision Song Contest 2017 was only 24 hours away, but before that, the Ukrainian hosts had something special to show the Eurovision contestants. The sight of Chernobyl 2, a near-accurate recreation of the original Chernobyl.
So, I actually watched the Eurovision Song Contest of 2017, and the whole thing was about diversity, so then actually they had 3 twinky white guys all hosting it. And honestly, seeing those 3 in Chernobyl is probably going to be... Yeah, it's going to make a lot of people happy reading this, I think. God, they were terrible.
Okay, Grace, either you spelt Chernobyl wrong or I did when I was searching there, because I've got Shabobble.
It honestly, it sounds like a kids' TV show.
Yeah, either kids' TV or like delicious Greek food.
I can imagine it's going to be something like Thomas the Tank Engine, but with nuclear reactors instead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dyatlov was very cross. Why is there no water in my reactor core?
Oh. Why have you poisoned my reactor?
But Boris didn't know.
You are not a useful little reactor core.
Valery had known that the RKBM couldn't explode, and that was bad for Thomas.
Sorry, you're going to need to do that again. It's RBMK.
No, I'm keeping that as it is. I think it's funnier that you then correct me. Okay, so before we've even filtered to explicit, the first thing we've already found are Valery Legasov and Boris Shabina.
Can I read the tags?
Of this one, absolutely.
So we've got Valery Legasov and Boris Shabina, Yulana Komyuk and Boris Shabina, Viktor Charkov, Sasha the cat.
Oh God, what's him and Sasha the cat doing in this?
Yes, I was going to say Sasha the cat, canon suicide. Yeah, secretly flirting. Sugar Daddy Boris. It gets better. Yolanda is doing Boris, and Valery is upset because of course he is. More Yolanda and Boris having semi-rough sex. Boris just wants Valery to drink.
Okay.
Things posted on Tumblr about the bravest, saddest radionuclides of all.
Oh my God.
So the first page of this Chernobyl tumblings is just that the cat's okay after Valery kills himself. Like, this whole fic is establishing that the cat is okay after... This isn't even a spoiler, it's in the first 10 minutes of the show. Valery kills himself, and... yeah, this is just that it's okay, Boris looks after the cat, and everything's fine.
Good.
Okay, so this isn't strictly explicit or anything like that because I haven't filtered with explicit yet. But here's one called Valerie the Doctor Doolittle of Chernobyl.
I just saw that one. Yeah. Is that what I think it is?
I think it might be, yeah.
That it's Valery talking to cats and...
yes, and I think...
Valery was an odd one with cats and animals, even when they're in Chernobyl, and he knew you can't touch the animals. That doesn't stop Valery.
There was that bit in it where I've forgotten his name. Fucking hell, the firefighter.
Fireman Sam?
Fireman Samsky. No, hang on.
His name is Vasily Ignatenko.
That's the one, yeah. And his wife, Lyudmila Ignatenko, going in to hug him, even though she's pregnant and he's dying of radiation
The worst
poisoning.
decision of that entire show. Even considering when the reactor explodes, the worst decision made was by Lyudmila Ignatenko. I can forgive Dyatlov, but I can't forgive Lyudmila.
Well, he was in the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. He was on the toilet the whole time.
But yeah, it's that's it. It's like, I mean, although I can't blame her, that bit was infuriating to watch.
Yeah, and so many other people told her, I should say, as well. Like, hey, don't do it.
Yeah. No touchy.
Before we hold up, there is one thing I'd like to point out about Valery the Doctor Doolittle of Chernobyl. Even though this is a general fan fiction, even though there's not meant to be any adult content, if you read some of this dialogue, they're still shipping Valerian Boris.
Because of course they are.
Hang on, why is it called General when they've got swearing in it?
Oh, this may have been mistagged.
Fuck it, said Boris, walking down the stairs.
Yeah, that sounds like Boris. I've just had a thought, you know. Is there going to be a fic, like a BDSM fic, between Boris Shabina and the human personification of a telephone? Because there's that scene where...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where he's on the phone to the sort of party headquarters, and then screams down the phone, "Tell fucking Gorbachev," and then beats the shit out of the phone.
If that doesn't exist, I'd like to request the only artist on this call to please draw that for me. So who are Batcho and Garrow?
Yeah, Batty and Garrow were the soldiers who had the unenviable task of going around and putting down all Chernobyl's animals.
That was a rough episode.
Who were then buried in a mass grave and covered with concrete.
So this is Fuck Me Like You Hate Me, containing the two of them,
Oh my god.
with Give Gacho a Chance. I mean, we all knew it had to be done. Vodka Mum is a power bottom. Change my mind if you can.
What?
Yeah, who is Vodka Mum?
That's a different
assuming-
language, really, isn't it?
Either Batcho or Garrow, depending on who the top is. I'm assuming one of them is Vodka Mum.
Yeah, sounds about right.
What's a power bottom?
Oh, Nick.
Over to you, Grace.
Oh, Nick.
So, Grace, what is a power bottom?
A power bottom. Well, so it's the dominant partner taking it up the backside. I can only think is the best way to explain it.
Yeah, that fits what I have heard of power bottoms. It's like an aggressive partner who is also on the receiving end. But they're keen on being on the receiving end.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
What did you think it was?
I honestly... I couldn't sort of fathom it. I couldn't sort of picture it in my head.
And it won't go away.
And it won't go away. Oh no! Oh no! Hang on. We talked. I'm sure we talked about this in the last one, but I found something called "When Science Meets a Soviet Man," and the summary is: Valerie thought his life wouldn't work being an Omega until he went to Chernobyl.
Oh no! It's this.
I think we may have discussed it off air, and it may not have made the cut. In which case we should talk about it again.
Oh shit!
Grace, would you care to explain Alpha, Beta, and Omega?
Oh my god. Okay. So once upon a time, someone had a very, very explicit niche for what they wanted when they asked an author to write some material, and the niche fetish kind of caught on from there. And it's all about people being separated into three different groups in society: Alpha, Beta, and Omega. And it doesn't matter what gender you are, you can be any of them. Alphas are, as the name suggests, I suppose quite dominant and usually in charge of everything. Betas are sort of what we are, in the middle, and Omegas are usually the lowest of society. The thing is that with these, they have particular traits when it comes to Alpha and Omega. Alpha being, when they have sex, their penis inflates and they knot inside you. And when it comes to Omega, they go into heat every once in a while, as in they become very, 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 almost disabilitatingly horny. They've got to like lock themselves away because like they give off pheromones and shit, and you can't let alphas near them because they'll just bang them. You know, it's like mental.
Like a power bottom, if you will.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to apologise to the people of Chernobyl, and particularly the 600,000 liquidators, Valery Legasov's family, Valery Legasov himself, and anybody else even remotely connected with this disaster.
So this one is a crossover between Chernobyl and The Sound of Music.
How How do people make these connections?
I don't know. I also don't know much about The Sound of Music. A hardened retired military man and an outspoken but caring scientist gradually fall in love. The tags contain both music and love. Chernobyl isn't a musical, but it is a love story. This is not completely canon.
I am disappointed.
I like how she was, or she or he or whatever, was sitting there going, okay, please forgive the venue, but I couldn't resist after watching this with my mum. I don't really watch things with my mum and go, oh yeah, I'm going to write some disgustingly explicit fanfiction about this later.
Okay, so go with me on this journey. This is how I imagine this happened. They watched Chernobyl. They were very sad about it. So they went to their go-to, like, eye bleach film, The Sound of Music. And that's where the connection came from.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I'm kind of disappointed because I would totally watch a Chernobyl musical.
Yeah, so would I.
I'm sure the Muppets will release one at some point.
The Muppets do Chernobyl. No, animal, don't press that button. Who's on 5? Yeah!
Oh.
I just want to say, I just want to see the musical. You know, just Dyatlov walking in, going, "The lid is off, the stack is burning. You morons blew the fucking tank."
Well, I don't have that for you, but I do have that. This is Chapter 2. How do you solve a problem like Valerie?
Of course it is.
Oh no. Oh god, it's written as it's sung.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the explicits. Anything jump out to you guys?
Yeah, there was one. I don't particularly want to read it, but
Do you want to tell me so I can read it?
right, it's called Foxhole. Okay.
Oh dear.
And I don't think it's yes. I don't think it's anything to do with fairies, because the summary is it's not a missing scene so much as a wished for scene for episode 3.
Missing scene so much as a wished for scene. May 7th, 1986. Hotel on the square, 2 kilometers from the reactor. Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah. This writer has taken it upon themselves to think that Chernobyl would have been improved if there was a scene where Legasov drops to his knees and gives Shabina a blowjob.
Yeah.
Is that something you wished for, Grace?
No comment. No, not really.
So yeah, just skimming it.
What about a girl? Boris knew there was no wife. You should send for your most beautiful mistress and bring her. In a lent-lined fur coat, I assume, Valerie said dismissively.
He unslipped the fly of Valerie's fatigues as casually as if he was buttoning a child's coat on a winter's day.
That's not a good metaphor for this scene.
No, it's really not.
His hand had breached Valerie's zip and was exploring gently past his cotton brief. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, get off.
Valerie, for his part, started filling, getting thicker under the heat of Boris's palm and the inhumanly impassive expression on Boris's face.
Why are we reading this? This isn't the episode for this.
So I've never given a blowjob, but I don't think I'd ever want to look up and there's just an indifferent face at the top.
I should point out that the few people that I admire in this life two of them are Legasov and Shabina for doing basically a very difficult job under very difficult circumstances.
And you know what it's like when people are under stress. Like, one thing can lead to another.
Right.
So what we've learned from this is not only don't meet your heroes, but also don't read about your heroes blowing each other.
Yes, that's it. I'd like to apologise to the victims of Chernobyl and the 600,000 liquidators, Legasov's family, Legasov himself.
Remind me who Victor Brukahavalov, whatever the fuck his name is, and Anatoly Dialov is.
Dyatlov is the angry guy in the control room, like the supervisor. Victor Bukanov. He was the sort of director of the plant. He was the stocky guy with dark curly hair.
Ah, right. I've just found a rough sex porn without plot, dirty talk, frottage, boss-employee relationship.
Between him and Dyatlov, the
fun.
two angriest people in this.
Yes. Go figure.
Yeah. Anatoly Dyatlov and Viktor Bukanov get themselves a hotel room in Pripyat. Go figure. Hang on. For the purpose of this fic, you should imagine what the characters actually look like. The real Viktor Bukanov and Anatoly Dyatlov were both a lot hotter than their respective HBO versions.
Oh, really? I think we need to prove this.
No, hang on. At the end of the series, they showed us the actual pictures.
I can't remember what they look like. I need to refresh my memory. I mean, I could see him being cast as Doctor Who in the 70s. As like a lead actor. With utmost respect to everyone involved in the Chernobyl disaster, that's not a very good moustache. Oh no, okay. What about this picture?
Are you literally looking for his best side? You're like... He is sort of angrily smouldering, sort of, around the place.
I do see where they're coming from with this picture. He's got a kind of like 1930s like leading man kind of face in that.
What?
Yeah, I get where they're coming from. I don't want to read them. I don't want to read him having rough sex with Viktor Bukanov.
I have found one.
Okay.
It's called. I was drawn to it by the title, and even more intrigued from the tags. The title is "Between the Motions, That Trembling Tender Little Sigh."
What?
It's and the tags. I will read the tags before I do. The tags are Valerie Legasov, Boris Shabina, because of course they are. Angst, falling in love, anal sex, oral sex, obligatory mention of the Soviet space program.
Sign me up.
And did I mention angst? Because she is here. I want to read that just for the fucking mention of the space program.
Yeah. Please do.
Oh wow, it's got a dedication.
What do you mean? What do you mean a dedication?
Apparently this fanfic was written for Jojo, my number one girl. Thank you for losing your mind with me. I love you so much.
A few of them do that.
I feel kind of bad ripping the piss out of it now.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Hang on a minute. I'm just reading the summary of this. It's called A Sack of Potatoes, right? And the summary is, a sack of potatoes distracts Valerie from his plans briefly, then strengthens his determination.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's only a short one, but it's got a lovely ending. It's basically, I think what happens is Valerie goes to the store and buys things, and he's given a sack of potatoes, and the yeah, basically they make him think of Boris for some reason, and this story is set just before Legasov kills himself, and because he thinks of Boris, he doesn't.
Have you ever looked at a sack of potatoes and thought about someone you care about deeply, and been like reminded of them?
Can't say I have.
Yes. I think I'd be slapped if I told anyone, I saw this and I thought of you and it reminded me of all the good times we had. It's just a sack of potatoes.
I saw a potato and it reminded me of you.
It looked just like your face. It's just a potato. What? Slap. Right, Grace, you have sent something there as well. Yeah. Okay, suspenders. Victor top, Anatoly bottom.
It's very, very random. Another Antony Dyatlov and Victor one.
Dyathonov, that must be the name of the ship.
God, probably.
Oh, it's got both. It's got two of the main ships apparently. Bukanov and Dyatlov, and Akimov and Toptonov.
Who was Akimov?
They were the chappies in the control room when it all went wrong. Yeah.
Oh yes, sorry.
Yeah, we'll do it together. We did everything right. That kind of guy.
I imagine he says that as they climax.
Oh.
Oh, you did everything right.
We did everything right.
Smooth jazz just playing in the background.
Whereas, do you think Dyatlov says that was not great but not terrible?
Yes, 100%. There is one thing I do want to talk about on this episode, and it's not strictly Chernobyl related. It's not a pairing from the show, it is a pairing of the actors, which is a trend that appears to be going on.
Yeah, okay.
There are 7 works here of Jared Harris, Stellan Skarsgård, if I've probably butchered that as well, which are the actors that play Valerian Boris. And things that happen after the Golden Globes party.
What?
According to this one. Pierce Brosnan shows up at one point.
I think I saw that one. I did wonder.
So there's one here that's Jared, Stellan, and Colin Firth in some kind of threesome.
Wow, okay.
What he doesn't know is that Stellan is bringing his gorgeous friend Colin Firth, and the 3 of them will ditch the boring party to do something more interesting.
Oh, for God's sake.
I like that just Colin Firth out of nowhere. Oh, hey, it's Colin. Hello. Watch Kingsman, it's very good. What are you doing?
Oh.
But no, I find that a very strange trend. Okay, so concluding thoughts on looking at these tags.
We've seen the principal ships, which seem to be Legasov and Shabina, Toptonov and Akimov, Bacho and Pavel, and Bukanov and Dyatlov.
Nothing heterosexual going on there either.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, we haven't seen any fics starring Vasily and Lyudmila Ignatenko, who are literally married.
Oh no, I think there was one. I'm sure I saw something involving those two.
Really?
There are 2 ships of those 2. There are 2 heterosexual fics in the Chernobyl fandom.
God, only 2.
Out of 459. It's not good odds. But
Hang on, wasn't there the lady scientist, the fictional lady scientist?
Ulana Komyuk. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in it a few times, but rarely.
There is one here of Oleana, but it's with an OC female character.
It's like the Brighton of the internet. This website.
God, it is.
Alpha,
isn't it?
beta, and gamma gadiation.
Gay-ish. Anyone else? Aside from that it's all very gay.
I was surprised how fluffy it was.
Yeah, it is definitely fluffier than I thought it might be. There's more romance than I expected from a show that doesn't have a lot of romance.
No, when you really watch it, you start to ship those two. But it's just fluffy. You know, there's fluffy moments.
Oh yeah,
in there. They're just all like. I mean, you kind of see it as bros, but then I don't know. The gazes linger a bit too much. I think the actors gave some new impressions.
In the last episode, when they sat outside the courthouse and the sort of having a final cigarette before Legasov is carted away by the KGB. It's the line, "My God, Boris, you were the one who mattered most. Damn near killed me."
So, I realize we've just done closing remarks. There is one more fan fiction I have to talk about.
Okay.
The summary is Boris's body lets him down.
Is this the erectile dysfunction fic I came across earlier?
Yes, its tags are angst with a happy ending and erectile dysfunction. It starts with, "It's okay, Boris. It happens."
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5?
1 out of 5. It's 1 out of 5 men.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you meant chapters. Like, Jesus, it can't be that long.
Do you know, for God's sake, there was me trying to be wholesome and poignant, and now we're back to erectile dysfunction.
It happens.
We can go back to poignant if you want.
Okay, in that case, Chernobyl was a serious disaster, and erectile dysfunction is a serious issue that affects 1 in 5 men. My thoughts go out to the 1 in 5 men who suffered in this situation, to the liquidators who helped get them Viagra.
I'd like to apologise to the survivors and victims of erectile dysfunction.
And all the people who have helped and the clean-up crew.
The jizz moppers of the world.
To the Tissue Foundation.
The Tissue Foundation.
Well, it's going to be a foundation of tissues in someone's floor.
Oh.
Isn't it?
Oh.
Oh, man.
So, we will return next week. I will be reading Chernobyl the Musical. Nick, what do you have?
I have... I'm going to be reading the... You haven't sent me them.
Oh,
We are professional podcast makers.
I sent you, or I'm about to send you, Between the Motions That Trembling Tender Little Sigh, which contains mentions of the space program. And Grace will be reading the Dyatlov romance, Suspenders. And I will be reading The Sound of Love. So join us next week when we shall review all these and decide what's best.
If we haven't hit the AZ5 button before now.
Indeed. Thank you for listening, and join us next week.